Hello and welcome to this video. This is part 1 to how to learn and how to play Chopin's very beloved Etude in C sharp minor, Opus 10, number 4. And before we even start here, I want to make sure that you have this score here. If you don't have your own copy of the score in any good edition, I would recommend printing this out. This is the edition I'll be working from in this tutorial series here. I think I've planned, if it works out correctly, I will have 6 videos in this series to cover this whole entire etude. And I also have a super slow video available on the Well-Rounded Pianist, as well as I think it's on YouTube as well. So this is part 1 of 6, and we're just going to break it down, and I'm going to show you how to learn and how to play this great and exciting etude. First of all, I just want to tell you that I've been using this edition for as long as I can remember, basically my whole life. This Chopin etude book here is very old. Actually, I think I got it when I was in my teen years, probably 12 or 13, around those years. And I still have it here. It's the Schirmer edition, edited by Arthur Friedheim. I think it's a very good edition. It's a very good edition. I think it's actually better than Urtext editions like Henley, because it has some pretty good fingerings in there. And Arthur Friedheim, even though he wasn't a student of Chopin, he knew the style very well, and I think his markings are very good. His pedal indications in general, and most of his fingerings are good as well. So I've always liked this edition very much, the Friedheim edition, and that's what I'll be using for this tutorial series. So what you need to do first is just simply print out the pages that I've supplied for you here and number the measures. So I would recommend numbering each of the beginning of each line. Remember, the first quarter note here, when you have the first 16th notes in this measure, that's not a complete measure. That's measure 0. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And so you need to number your measures, because I will probably be referring to measure numbers throughout this tutorial series. And there are a total of 82 measures in all, just to make sure that you have that correct. So make sure you number your measures, and you number them very carefully. Double check it. There should be 6 pages. Should be 6 pages to this printout. So let's get going here. We're going to start with the right hand. This is in the key of C sharp minor. We have 4 sharps. That's the harmonic minor. Harmonic minor together. And then let's play the melodic minor. It's good just to get oriented a little bit to the key, just to play the scale 1 or 2 octaves or so. It doesn't have to be fast, but just so you can orient yourself to the key. Now let's get going here in the beginning. We're going to play. So that's the first thing you want to do, is get this motif in the very beginning. Hold this G sharp with your thumb, at least until you get your second finger on that D sharp. Then you can let go of your thumb, and there's a staccatissimo, that little triangle sign on that note. You want to, it's sort of a little rotation with your wrist going up like that. We will not be using pedal when we're playing hands separately, but we will use pedal when we put hands together. So after you play the C sharp, then if otherwise, I would say use Friedheim's fingering, but sometimes I don't. So I'll let you know when I don't use Friedheim's fingering. I actually prefer, you could use 3 here like he says, or I like to use 2 because 2 is closer. And then when you start your thumb on the B sharp, we're going to have several 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns. So thumb on B sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then his 2 is good here. I'd use 2 and then use either 4 or 5 here on the C sharp. I like to use 1, 2, 1. I think 1, 3, 2 is not that necessary. I like to just use 1, 2, 1, 5. 1, 2, 1, 5. 1, 2, 1, 5. And here in measure 3 you have to use a lot of wrist rotation. And the slower it is, the more rotation you'll do. The more you speed it up, the less rotation you'll do because the movements will diminish in size the faster you go. And make sure you get these 4-note slurs. We have So don't do this. Don't try to connect that A with the B sharp, but disconnect it. Disconnect this. Disconnect that. And now we have some 2-note slurs. Really observe Chopin's articulation here. 2-note slurs. Accent there. See if you can reach your thumb on the C sharp and D sharp. 3 or 2 on the F double sharp. 3 on the A sharp. 5 on the D sharp. If you absolutely cannot do that, if your hand is too small to do that, then simply play the D sharp with your 4th finger of your right hand. It's not a big deal. Can do it, by all means do it this way. And then you could either play 1, 2, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 5 in measure 5. It doesn't really matter. I like to play 3 because it's closer. See how the 3rd finger is closer to G sharp? I know that technically, if you play arpeggios, 4 is the textbook correct finger for G sharp, but you don't always have to play textbook correct fingers when you have it in a different context here. So I would just play 3. Now make sure you get all these staccatos. We're in measure 7. Now 2-note slurs with accents. So we have a long and a short, a long and a short. And you want to go up a little bit with your wrist as you're doing that. And now measure 8 we have try to play legato here. 1, 3, 2, 4. 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2. So this is a nice sequence here that you're going to use the same fingering. 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. Now we go back to like the beginning. 4-note slurs. And we're going to stop there. Actually, part 1 is going to stop here at the beginning of measure 13. Let's go over this little arpeggio on measure 12. I personally like to use my third finger on all the F sharps. So 1, 2, 5, 3. And now thumb goes under. 1, 2, 5, 3. I know that 4 is the textbook correct fingering here, but like I said before, you don't always have to use the textbook correct fingerings. I think 3 is stronger, and so at high speeds you'll have I think an easier time playing 3 than 4. 1, 2, 5, 3, 2, 1, 3. See how much closer 3 is than 4? And 4 is shorter. So you'll have an easier time with 3. And then 3, 2, 1. So we have. And then I would play 1, 2, 5 here. When you're playing this arpeggio, your fingers will actually not be that curved, because when you're playing a lot of the Chopin arpeggio figurations, your fingers will be outstretched, especially with people with smaller hands like me. Contrary to common belief, I do not have large hands. I actually have pretty short fingers. And so I have to actually spread them out when I'm playing arpeggios and not curve them very much. The larger hands you have, the more you'll be able to curve your fingers. The smaller the hands, the less you'll curve your fingers on arpeggios, because you have to stretch them out. Okay, so we've got the right hand up to measure 13. What we're going to do now is we're going to put the metronome on a nice slow speed. I'm going to put it on 96. This is 96 per eighth note. And we're going to play just the right hand up to measure 13. 1, 2, ready, play. So there we have 12 measures of that with the right hand. And now we're going to do all of that with the left hand. So we have. There's no need to play 3 here. There's no need to connect the G sharp to the C sharp. If you have very large hands, perhaps you can do that. But it's really not necessary, because you have the pedal to help you. And once you play this G sharp for the full value, see, I'm using 5, 5, 5, 5. It's not really going to make a whole bunch of difference. It's not going to make any difference, actually. So don't take that slur so literally. Because when we add pedal, when we put hands together, you'll see that you'll be able to do that nice 2-note slur with just using 5 and 5. really get a nice short staccato on those notes here. And this is a good place to use, I like to use 4 on this black key here. 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then 5. Make sure you let go of that D sharp. So we have, starting on that F double sharp, we have 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like to play 3, 2, 3, 1, and then 4, 4, 3, 4, 1, and then 5. And try to do those 4-note slurs like we did in the right hand. Like in the right hand in measure 11, we have just like we did just like we had there. This is measure 7 in the left hand. Make sure you get those 2-note slurs. Da-dum. I like to use 2, 3, 1, 2, or 1, 3, 1, 2, and then da-dum. Make sure you get that slur. I don't like the 2, 3 here in measure 8 that Friedheim gives. There's no need to do that. I like to just play 3 on D sharp, 1, 2. You know, if you want, you can do that, but I think it's more work to do it that way. Let's go on. Make sure you get a nice accent on that chord. Have an E double sharp, a B, a D, and an E double sharp. And then 4 is closest, so I would play 4. We have 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. I mean, you don't have to play 4 on the black keys, but I like to do that because I think 4 is closer, and it's a longer finger than 5, so it actually often will reach. You'll be able to reach the black keys easier if you use 4 on there. But it's not true at all that you have to always use 5 on black keys. Don't listen to pianists or teachers when they tell you always use 4 on black keys when you have octaves. That's just not true. So yes, much of the time that's true, but not always. So I don't think you can use a word like always. Now let's put it on 96 again, like we did with the right hand, and there we have the left hand. So once you get right hand very nice and clear with good fingerings, good rhythm, and the left hand, good fingerings, good rhythm, then we're going to put them together. So just to save a little time, we're going to put hands together using pedaling. I would suggest trying to put hands together first without using the pedal, and then we'll use the pedal. So I'm going to go over it first with hands together with pedal, but without the metronome, just to explain it. So now, push the damper pedal down, push the right pedal down all the way down before you play anything. Then when you get to the C sharp, let go of it. Just practice that. You need to practice going outwards with your wrists. No pedal. Now here, measure 3, pedal, pedal, pedal. Make sure you get a nice pedal on all of those. Pedal, pedal, pedal. No pedal here. A nice pedal on that accent. Remember, this is piano now in measure 5. Pedal, off. Pedal, off. No pedal here. No pedal. 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 He has... No. I would use 2 on that D. I just noticed the free time has 3. That's a weird finger. I would use 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, and then 2, 2. Don't use 2, 3 on all those. Anyway, let's get back to the pedaling. Pedal, 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 pedal. Personally, I don't like pedal in the first 3 beats of measure 12. But I think pedal is very effective on the last beat. So when you come to that D, that deserves a nice pedal on there. But here, those I think are best without pedal. And you know, quite honestly, I don't know if these are Chopin's pedalings or Friedheim's pedalings, but regardless, I think it's better without. So now we've gone over that. I've explained the pedaling. Now let's put the metronome on and try it from the beginning up to measure 13. I'm going to put it on 96 again, a very slow speed at the 8th note. Ready, and play, and... So just for fun, let's just speed it up just a little bit. We're going to speed it up to, let me see, I was on 96. Now let's put it on, that's 48 per quarter note. So now just for fun, let's put it on 63 per quarter note. That would be 126 per eighth note. This is a nice moderate speed here. Probably roughly half speed if you wanted to play it at full speed. So here's 63 per quarter note. There we have it, up to measure 13. So let's go on to the next part. In the, starting in measure 13, we will continue in part 2. So stay tuned for that, and we will go over the next part. I plan to cover up to measure 27 in the next part. So stay tuned for that.